Getting through all the pages in 3.5 days was challenging. 1 full day at the gym, 1 full day at the comedy club. His apartment, the half night was at the Menchie's. Yes, it is nuts, because the other thing with Fun and Funny, there's no overtime. We didn't have it in the budget. You have to get really creative about however you're gonna make your day.
Take 1, marker.
Action, David. David and I had worked together on a short musical comedy, and then he shared with me that he had written a children's book called LOL 101. It's a joke writing book for kids. Having just written this book and gotten so much joy out of writing it, he said, you know, I think there might be something here with this IP. And then he and I just started to spitball ideas. You know, it was like, okay, what if it's a guy who's kind of like you, kind of a sad sack, and he's like, hey, what are you talking about? I was like, no, I mean a version of you, David. And then he started writing, and we wrote a little bit together, and then he wrote again, and then he said, hey, I think maybe we could go pitch this to Fujifilm, and I think maybe we could get this made. When you have a great team around you and you have people that are at the top of their game, the product is only going to be better when you can collaborate together.
The role of cinematographer for me is I want to support the director and the producers because I'm making their film, not my film. It's not just all about the artistry of cinematography and creating a beautiful image. If it's not helping tell the story or further the story, that's a problem. The first challenge was the fact that it's comedy, you know that there's going to be improv. Time is so precious. How can I give them the most amount of time to capture the scene that they want? And that's where this system worked really well. GFX100 II technically is a brilliant camera. It's got a full-size sensor. Because the camera body is next to nothing, I could afford to go with these big lenses and have beautiful glass, because then it just turned it into a weight of a very reasonable motion picture camera. It was more about getting it into a camera configuration that we could use easily and quickly. Getting it balanced nicely for Steadicam work and gimbal work, and getting power to the right places, getting monitors to work as viewfinders. Once I'd had those all dialed in, I mean, it was terrific.
It's a gorgeous camera. But also, it's helpful when you're carrying a smaller crew and you want your footprint to be smaller. Our comedy club had a lot of restrictions. And it can be kind of the over of the two of them. Clearly, we're saying that Marcus brought her here.
Yeah.
And then it's just her. Yeah. As an actor who now directs, I will always fight for the actor. David is doing a comedy set, obviously. His journey has gone from not going very well and falling very flat to tonight, which is like gangbusters. Whether you personally think it's funny or not, our characters think it's hilarious. That's the vibe, okay? Thank you.
But if you do find me funny, follow me on Instagram.
Just knowing what our days were gonna be, I always needed to be going wide and tight at the same time. If you're gonna use take one, you've got the close and you've got the master, and it's all the same performance. We had 1 day at that comedy club. There's a lot at that comedy club. Did you notice? There was no other way around it. This is not ideal, but this is how you do something in a short amount of time. Block scheduling would mean, so if you're filming something in one location, you want to be looking at everything in one direction, then turning around with your cameras and filming everything in the other direction. You might save 2 to 3 hours without having to move back and forth, thus allowing you to be able to film everything you need to film in a much smaller amount of time.
Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight. Yes.
This is a great example. It's a nice wide of the comedy club that we were filming in, and you can see the practical lights above the bar. I love that look, and I love the way the Premista handles the highlights on those. They're just the blooming of the bright bare bulb. Seeing detail in the shadows. The fall off is really nice. The contrast is beautiful. Yeah, couldn't be happier.
Ladies!
Ain't no one following you home, brother.
David.
You know, this is what you love as a cinematographer, when you read a scene like this and say, all right, we can do something really fun with this. We can do anything. All bets are off.
We really talked a lot about how we wanted it to look very different than everything else. I want it to look blue and dreamy and sort of off-kilter.
Go take 2, marker.
Happy divorce. You remember Rigoberto?
The twinkle lights in the background, I love. I keep them always somewhere on the truck because they're the perfect tool to throw in the background just to liven something up. But I love the strong backlight on them here and the blue feel. And I think we did all this with tubes right over the door, right around them.
The look that you can get on a camera like this is so rich. I was just thrilled. You know, when you have really seasoned comedy actors, you don't need to worry about continuity. You don't need to worry about getting all the coverage on both sides because they're just gonna do the same thing all the time. But that's not always the case with people who haven't been doing it their entire life. At the gym, we had 1,000 children there. You can't always insert the minutia of what the method should be for their acting choices. It just has to sort of be like whatever's fun on the surface. It's like, okay, we don't bounce any balls. When he says this thing, we all freeze. And then we ha ha ha, ha and then we freeze.
We can't lay marks down and have kids hitting very specific spots when they're playing basketball and they're throwing it around. The other big constraint is time.
Okay.
We had little rolling dollies the 2 camera operators could sit on with the zoom lenses, handheld. I took the longer lens, the other camera took the wider lens. We can start wide, very quickly reframe in. The actors stay in the moment. You can work fast. It's just all about trying to give them as much freedom as possible.
For the montage, we just rolled the camera for like 10 minutes and never cut. The cameras are small, you can move them around so much easier. It gave me the ability to do a lot of that.
Trying to keep lights off the ground, be able to see as many directions. I just never really want to go to the director and say, you know, we can't do that. The gym location, it had your classic overhead lighting, not the most flattering. I had a very big 12 by bounce on wheels that I could roll around in there, and I would just use that as the key light. But again, that's where the latitude of GFX100 II is great, because the floor here, that very could have easily been blown out. I see everything I need to see in the shadows. I see everything I need to see in the highlights. It's really pretty.
I couldn't believe in the editing bay watching it. It wasn't even color corrected. And I just was like, this is one of the most gorgeous things we've ever shot. And what we could do later with color grading, we really looked at a lot of different variants on what we were seeing just in the raw image. That's what we're seeing now versus maybe 10, 15, even 20 years ago when we had the advent of like digital filmmaking. You're really seeing such a more advanced piece of equipment that is bringing high-end filmmaking to a much smaller body, a much smaller crew, and into the hands of the budding filmmaker, the aspiring filmmaker. Great, that was excellent, cut. On every job, I learned something. Getting to work with GFX100 II, getting to outfit these cameras, getting to work with Jason and collaborate in a totally brand new way.
GFX100 II has everything we need to make a great film. There is never enough time to get the job done to the highest quality you possibly can. To me, it's kind of the fun part.
Making anything from conception to finish is a huge win. To be able to collaborate with friends and people that I've known for a really long time, it was a dream, making this short bigger and better than we could have ever made it on our own.